Welcome to episode 11 of the Purpose Pursuit podcast with Tim Batts, the space where we help you find your purpose, lock in on it, and build a life you're proud of, mentally, spiritually, financially, and physically. Today we have a powerhouse of a guest, Eric Hall Sr. He went from the tough streets of Memphis to a full ride in college, then from grinding in the oil industry to suiting up for the Houston Texans. But what happens when your dream career forces you to make the tough decisions of your life? When the passion you worked so hard for starts to pull away from the people you love. Eric made a call that most men wouldn't. He stepped away from the profession of football and into a career of service and leadership in law enforcement, all while raising 8 kids and keeping his faith strong. This episode is about discipline, sacrifice, resilience, and most importantly, purpose. If you're someone searching for direction or battling with the weight of hard choices, this conversation is definitely for you. Let's get into it. All right, E, tell me about the environment you grew up in and how it shaped you.
The environment I grew up in, let's say, separate households, so to speak. You know, my parents were divorced. They were married when they had me, but, they divorced, and I was being raised in 2 different households. My mom, church-going lady, my dad, kind of on the hood side, well, really on the hood side. So I was basically getting the best of both worlds. So if I'm getting the best of both worlds, I'm learning 2 different ways to live life. And 2 different ways to live life only leaves a way for you to make a decision on how you want to lead your own life. I take a little from here, take a little from there, put it together, and create my own thing.
Got it. What was the hardest lesson you learned as a young man?
As a young man, that everybody ain't your friend. That's just one. I got a lot of them. Everybody ain't your friend. With success, you can't take everybody with you. And these are lessons my dad was telling me. He's just pumping it into me. My dad was a man of few words. So he would just say little stuff here and there. I pick up on some of it. And some of it go in one ear and not the other. And then he'll repeat it. So
The sports was your escape. What did basketball, track, and football teach you about life?
about life, definitely taught me some discipline. First starting out in sports, I didn't have no type of discipline, man. I was all over the place as a kid, and then trying to figure out which sport that I was actually good in, or which sport I liked the most. Um, I would say discipline is the biggest one, the biggest out of all of them.
Have you ever, with discipline, as you got into adulthood or career, have you thought back or had any thoughts back to those sports days that you can kind of pull from that says, I remember, okay, I need to do it this way?
Absolutely.
Man, can you talk about that a little bit?
It's been moments in time I see certain young men. Being out and about, like being out in the world, like I'm in law enforcement now, so I see children with their parents all the time, and it's a lot of lack of discipline going on. So, man, a simple child could just strike a nerve, be like, they could do something, and it's like a trigger for me. I'd be like, man, I remember back in the day, that wasn't gonna fly. And I learned that in, man, just playing football or playing basketball. So, any little trigger, man, with what I got going on in today's time as far as career, man, the discipline, it'll take you back.
You earned a scholarship to Texas Southern. What was the transition like leaving Memphis for college?
Man, I was happy. Man, I was so happy to get up out of Memphis. I think, well, I know the only thing that was really pulling me back was my daughter, because I had a daughter at that time. So um, I was trying to still be a child, but I wasn't in a childlike situation. So I had a daughter to care for. The transition was easy, but I'm I'm assuming dealing with the transition, it made it kind of difficult. But I was just I had to grow up
Yeah.
at some point because I had a child, man.
Was there ever a moment in college where you realized or where you questioned, did I make the right choice?
Mm, no, not that I know of. Because college had always been like at the forefront. I would I would always think like what it would be like to be a student athlete. I even thought about the military, but my dad was like against it. And why he was against it, he was like, "You don't have enough discipline." He told me I didn't have enough discipline to go to the military. So you take one of them football scholarships and you get out of here. So yeah, I rocked out with that football and track scholarship going to Texas Southern. Because
Okay.
initially we were supposed to go to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
We were supposed to go to Ole Miss, and it's been so long ago, I forgot what happened with that. But we ended up going different places. You went to Alcorn, and I went to Texas Southern.
What was the biggest lesson your father instilled in you growing up?
My dad, he was big on respect. No matter what it was, who it was, always have respect. If you feel like you're being disrespected, just walk away. It's easier to walk away than to get in a confrontation with somebody. So he's big on respect, how you speak to people. Back then, very big on yes sir, no sir. Today's society, it's a yeah, no. And I'm 43 years old. I'm still saying yes sir, no sir. So I don't get, how we get away from this sometimes, but respect, that was a that was a big lesson from my father anyway.
So I heard you say talk about little kids and the discipline piece, and then you touching on respect and how you still do it today. Like, what do you think is missing? Obviously we talking about pops, but what do you think is missing that kids don't know how to walk away when they're in confrontation, or they feel like they need to engage because hey, you ain't gonna do this to me. I'm gonna show you. Like, what you think's missing?
Man, it's the proper parenting. That's what I think is missing. The proper parenting. And when I say proper parenting, um, back in the day, we had a village. It didn't matter who got a hold of you. You know what I'm saying? Today, parents not like that. You know what I'm saying? Nah, don't you say nothing to my child. I deal with my child, blah, blah, blah. But once they took the village away, man, it has become a very big problem, issue every day. So yeah, that's my take on that.
A lot of people dream of going pro, but few make it. What was it like fighting for that spot on the Houston Texans?
Man, a real transparent moment. Uh like I didn't start trying out until I was out of school. It had to been like it was 2006, like 2007, because I didn't make it until 2007. So in 2006, I had tried out with the Colts and the Bengals. And the first trial, I got cut the first round. The second trial, I got cut the last cut. And man, that killed me. So, man, I wasn't really trying to go through all that. I was getting to a point where I was getting tired, body worn out, because I had been playing sports since I was 5 and I hadn't missed a season. And body just steady going, going, going. But one day I came home and I had an invite from the Texans in the mailbox, and I hadn't caught a ball in almost a year. So I went out there. I can honestly say I didn't even give 100%. I was at like 70, 80%. And that's not like me. I was at 70, 80% and made it. and they picked me up for the practice squad. So it was like I can't even say it. Like I wasn't even really happy. Like I think I had already accepted it. Like my mind was made up, and yeah, that was that.
Yeah, that was actually taking me to the next question. Like what was that like? Was it a surreal moment? And you said it's
Man,
just you was just there.
yeah, I was just there, man. I was getting the money. Once I actually, started practicing with the team, man, I was getting the money, and the money was like, it was a lot of money in 1 week. A young man, I have, I have a child, man. At that time, I had 3 children, so I had 2 additional kids, so I got 3. So I got my kids. So the money was good, and I wouldn't even, if I remember, maybe halfway through the first season, that's when I started coming alive. But man, that first half of the first season, man, it was just like I was just going through the motions, like I had no love for it, but I was there.
And so the no love, was it just still from those first two instances with those teams that kind of took that away?
Yeah, it kind of killed it for me. Uh, college ball didn't really kill it for me because I didn't play much of it because the track coach and the football coach was arguing over who I was gonna play for more or who gave the more money on the scholarship. So nah, he not coming to football. He gonna run track over here, and then I release him. It was, I had to endure that too. So and then yeah, it was like a big mess, and all I could ever remember saying is like, man, I'm so young, but I'm caught up in like grown man stuff, man. I'm growing up. I didn't grew up so fast. And it's nobody else's fault but mine. And I even said something about my kids. I was like, man, I got children. Man, I got this going on. And then I end up getting married in college.
Really?
Yes, I was married in college. So man, I had a whole real life grown man situation going on. Like I was like, man, this is a lot, but I could deal with it. I could deal with it. But man, back to your question, man, at that moment, it was just like I was there, and I didn't come alive until like the second half of the first season.
So I'm learning something now. So you was married in college,
Yeah.
3 kids, and then obviously transitioning to the league or whatnot.
Mhm.
That had to be a lot of weight on you, a lot of stress that I can understand. So, how does somebody like that at that age deal with all of that that's on them?
Now I could do you one better. I was in college. I was married. When I first made it, I was getting divorced. In '07, I was getting divorced, and it was another piece. And then, of course, I had my 3 kids, and there was another piece. I was on child support too. So it's like that was another thing I remember. I couldn't enjoy. I couldn't enjoy what I had going on because I was in fear for like, man, they're gonna take all my money. It's gonna be for nothing. Because when I got my scholarship on the first child and I was on child support, they took it. I didn't even get no money for that. So I had to do work study. I had to do something to, have money in my pocket. So it was rough. But it was all one big process though. A whole learning experience. And man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it more now that I'm older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny what you say about the process piece. Um, I've recently posted where, everything or every person that's in your life or things that happen is actually for a purpose to reveal a greater purpose.
Yeah.
And I think, had we not gone through those things and what we're at the moment, or had we not embraced it, we probably wouldn't have made it to what our real purpose is in life.
It's true.
Yeah. Our success comes from sacrifice. When did you realize football was costing you more than what you were willing to pay?
My kids have started being in sports. and being on that team, and I wasn't totally happy. I wasn't the normal E-Hall that y'all know to play football, run up and down the field like it's nothing, run around the track like it's nothing. Man, I'm missing all of this. Man, my oldest daughter, she was playing basketball and she was actually good. My second oldest daughter, she was running track. She was actually good. My son, he was playing football, looking just like me, but he was sorry. So he needed my help. He needed my help, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, I like, man, I gotta do something, man. I was always gone. Uh, Practice squad could travel with the team, you know what I'm saying? We could dress out, but you know what I'm saying? We was there, and I was trying to go for the experience, to see what it's like. And man, going through the turmoil with their mothers, and knowing the things that I know, I was like, man, I gotta make something shake. I gotta do something different. So, man, I let it go.
Let it go for the kids, huh?
Yeah, I let it go.
I mean, I, I kind of put myself, I didn't make it to that point as it relates to the league piece, but 'cause that was a dream of mine. I'm sure it was a dream of yours,
Hmm.
but I know that had to have been a tough decision to make, considering from a youth that you driving to try to get to that,
Yeah,
and then you're like, okay, I'm at a turning point right now.
it wasn't though.
Really?
For me, it wasn't.
Wow.
It's different from for everybody, and it wasn't a tough decision for me. It wasn't a tough decision for me. Man, going to practice every day, man, you realize there's grown men out there. I'm a grown man too, but I wasn't the size I am now going out there going against the grown men. I was still a buck 85, 90 at the most. And man, them grown men get to land on you, man, start taking the toll on you. Man, see, this type of stuff is psychological, man. It start playing in your head, and you be like, man, let me go and get out of here before I really get hurt for real. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, I'm trying to help my kids out, man. I ain't gonna be able to walk if I keep out, man, half stepping this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it wasn't really a tough decision for me,
Got it.
and I let it go. I was
But
like, man, it's time to get a real job, man, so I can be close to these children.
you had a chance to keep playing, but you chose family. That's a real man's decision. What was that moment like when you did decide to finally say, "Hey, I'm done. I'm focusing on kids. I'm focusing on family. I'm focusing on my career outside of football."
Well, the thing about it, with like I shared with you earlier, being on child support or whatnot, man, I never revealed to people that, man, I had made that team, because that was one of my fears, them taking all my money. You know what I'm saying? They was already getting what I, man, had set aside. And then two, people asking me for stuff. And man, I'm making more than the average person, but it's not enough to, man, be, handing it out, giving it away freely. And I'm a kind hearted person. I don't like to see people struggle like that, man. I could see myself giving away the kitchen sink. So, man, I didn't enjoy, I didn't get a chance to enjoy that part of it either. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really share with my family like that.
Yeah.
They didn't know. They just knew that I was doing something, and I was always out of town. But I never told them.
You walked away from football and stepped into law enforcement. What drew you to that field?
You want the politically correct, or you want my correct?
I want the E-Hall correct.
You want the EHOG correct? One day, man, I came in contact with the police. And this was the time, this was around the time that I had put on all that weight. I was like 270 of muscle, just big. And the constant contact with the police, they just aiming it at me. I'm like, man, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, if I can't beat them, I need to join them. I need to find out, like, man, why are black people getting shot? man, why we getting treated like this? You know what I'm saying? What's the man? Because I don't know nothing about the law. I was like, man, I need to get in there and find out. And man, that's what drew me to it. And like I said earlier, people do different things for different reasons. And that was my reason. I was too big walking around and the police constantly messing with me.
So why they why, I mean, why were they messing with you?
Man, back then I had started like a little trucking company as well. So this was the real turning point. I had took a load to New York, and if anybody has driven in New York, they got a lot of toll roads. They got a lot of roads. Commercial vehicles can't cross over, or the boulevard. It's got to be a certain amount of weight to be traveling on it. And it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I took the wrong exit. I was on the wrong boulevard. Police got behind me. Man, started talking so crazy to me. You a professional. You supposed to know this. Da 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 da. Step out the vehicle, man. Me not being ignorant to the law. Man, I stepped out the vehicle, and he's like, "Put your hands behind your back." I'm like, "For what?" I like on a traffic stop. I'm like, "Man, just cut me my ticket, and man, let me be on my way. Point me in the right direction so I can get off of this road, and man, I'll be on my way." And he was like, "Man, you're not going nowhere." And man, he grabbed my arm, but with me being so big, I'm not resisting. Putting that arm back there. But he's like, "Stop resisting." I was like, "Dude, I work out every day. I'm not resisting you, man." Hey. And his partner was standing there just watching. He was just watching him. Like, I mean, he was snatching on my arm and everything. I was like, "Hey, get another set of handcuffs." Man, just cuff me, put two on. And he did that and made me sit on the back of my trailer for like 45 minutes. He ran license, registration, insurance, uh, warrant checks, everything he could. Didn't find nothing. Uncuffed me, wrote me 3 tickets, sent me on my way.
So you said the turning point now, and then
Yeah.
you ultimately went and joined them. A situation like that, and then constantly being bothered would kind of make somebody like not like the police. But
It's true.
you did it. I mean, I'm trying to understand the logic and the thinking too, but
Yeah.
you did it totally different, and
Totally
you went and
different.
joined them to understand them.
I went to join them to understand them
Wow.
because I needed to know what was going on. And man, the truth of the matter is, once I got in, I realized you got like a series of different cops. It's like it's clicked up for real. It's really clicked up. You got racist cops. You got black racist cops. You got cops that just come to work to make their money, go home. You got cops that just like working their extra jobs, making the sign money while, they make their money on the clock. I mean, it's just different type of cops that do different things. And it's cops that's man, there's some real dirty cops out there. I can't even lie about that. White and black. It ain't got no color. So
So since we own it though, and so you went to learn, you learned what you learned.
mhm.
You know, being that you've been in the environment, you're ingrained in it, you've made relationships. I'm sure just from me knowing who you are, it ain't gonna sit well with you. How does something like that get changed, or how do we improve on that?
And the way you improve on something like that, you got to hold people accountable. If they do it in front of you, and that's a green light to hold them accountable. I do it every day. They're like, "Man, Big Sarge ain't go." Man, people that's around me, and they come in there trying to do that stuff. They'll tell other man, Big Sarge not going for that. You might as well skedaddle.
So you saying some from within hold people accountable.
Man, it started with the people on the inside, because a lot of the people on the outside, I understand what they're trying to do, but they're going about it the wrong way. And when I say that we are not educated on the laws like we think we are, man, it ends bad, and people wonder why uh, white officers get off with doing some of the stuff that they do. Black officers too. They get off with doing some of the stuff they can do. It's the way they articulate it in their report. If they can write it and paint the picture and it fits the criteria to the law, then they cleared all day long. But we know right from wrong, but we're not going off of right and wrong. What are we going off of? The law. Man, it's imperative that people learn the law. And once you learn the law, you got to know how to apply the law. That's what they missing. They don't know how to apply the law. You can sit there and people will sit there and quote on YouTube videos of law all day, blah 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 blah. Okay, you just told me a state statute for word verbatim, but you don't know how to apply it. So it's nothing if you don't know how to apply it or articulate it.
There was a lot of discipline in sports and law enforcement. How did your past prepare you for both those roles as a motor cop and athlete?
Sports, it taught a lot of discipline. Being in law enforcement, it teaches a lot of discipline. It also teaches a lot of patience. And it also teaches that, man, you got to be able to think faster than everybody else, like split second fast, because stuff happens in the blink of an eye. So that discipline and the patience, because a lot of time things look like a certain way, but it don't be that. It's totally not that. And then you have your people just like your overzealous personnel. You get a person that's overzealous. It could look like a person is drunk driving, but sugar probably fail. Might be a diabetic. You can't take a man to jail for being a diabetic and having an episode and you mistaking it for being drunk. So, man, people are different, man. People be people and people be operating off emotions. And man, that's another thing I learned out throughout life, man. You can't operate off those emotions all the time, especially in a profession like that. And I tell people all the time, man, I'm not I'm not talking to you from my personal. I'm operating solely off the law, and that's it.
How did you, when you got into that career, how did that career shift happen while raising a family? Because you said that, you know, well, you eventually got into being a cop and then you were still raising a family. How did those two things marry together?
The adjustment part, I think the adjustment part is solely on you. Like it was solely on me. Um, Basically, going off what my kids had going on, and I would adjust to them. I would go back and be like, "Hey, this is what I got." So I got my family and my kids, man. They got this, 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 and this. Man, I need to make an adjustment so I could have. And a lot of the times, the administration, they pretty flexible with you, so they make it easy for you to adjust. Or would you rather work a night shift, or would you rather work a day shift? You know, day shift is the prime end all be all, but some people would rather evening shift. So me, the older and older they got, they was able to stay at home by themselves. So I would go to midnights. So when I leave at 9 o'clock, they getting ready for bed. They already sleep. They teenagers. When I return, I come in, wake them up, get them ready for school, drop them off at school, probably go work out, work an extra job or something. By the time I get through, it's time to pick them up. They going to practice. I get some sleep. They call me, "Hey, Dad, come pick me up." And work out like that, man. But the adjustment, man, that's how the adjustment worked for me. Um, I was pretty vocal about what I had going on, so it wasn't hard to get an adjustment on that end.
What's the hardest part about shifting your identity from athlete to protector?
I don't think I really had to do much shifting or, changing my identity because they had already looked at me like, hey, man, he athletically built, you know what I'm saying? So, but, and being a protector, that's just natural, being a natural protector. And from protecting mom, feeling like I had to be her protector, my kids, protecting them. Um, I think more so being a protector, it felt good to protect other people. So it just kind of fell into it, because at one point I was a SRO at a school, and it was good being around other kids and pouring into them, and then at the end of the day, go home and pour into my own kids.
You have 8 kids. How do you balance being a leader at work and at home?
I separate them. Being a leader at work, it's one of those things like it is what it is. I Even though I say that, I can't stand that saying it is what it is. But when the orders come down, you just give them what they need to do. And man, hey, I need to go do this. But the type of leader I am at work, and they've tried to, for years, tried to talk me out of doing this type of stuff. I actually get out there and do the work that they doing. So if Sarge is out there working and he on the bike and he doing traffic enforcement and he writing tickets, why can't I do it? Or why you not doing it?
So the biggest thing is from what I'm hearing is lead by example.
Lead by example.
So at work, obviously, obviously at home you lead by example for
Yeah.
sure. But then you take that same concept and apply it at work, and they can kind of go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. The way I do that, I separate. I leave work stuff. I leave work stuff at work. I don't even really like talking about work stuff when I'm at home. The only reason I talk about it because my wife, she like to have conversations about it because she want to know. She real intelligent. She want to know what's going on. So I had to get out of that mindset, and I had to talk to her about it. But my kids, they try to talk to me about it. Sometimes it's some things I will talk to them about, but a lot of that stuff that goes on, I feel like I'm protecting them from what actually goes on in the world that I don't want them to have like knowledge about. But some kind of way that culture, one of the little friends, they might bring it up. So I'm like, okay, they didn't caught on to it. So now I'm forced to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So when it's just me, I just try to separate the two. Police talk, home life talk. I try to separate them.
What's the biggest mistake young people make when trying to build a stable future?
Moving too fast, and they moving too fast. If I had known what I know now, I would have had God first in everything that I did. And man, without God, man, ain't none of that stuff happening. Nothing, nothing. And the funny thing about it, man, God is like he really a comedian. Like I went and I had a conversation with God. I was like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to have this. I want to have that. And then none of that happened holistically. He gave me a piece here. All right, you had a little taste. Take it away. Piece here. Take it away. Piece here. Take it away. And I didn't learn until I got older. Is Man, the only reason I was going up and down, I wasn't totally focused on God. So to a child trying to build a future and be stable in the future, man, put God first. Man, you have to stay focused on God. God is a jealous God. And I used to hear people say it all the time. God is a jealous God. God is a jealous God. It holds to be true. It holds to be true. Because once I focus and locked in solely on God, man, I haven't lost yet.
Your mom's faith played a big role in your life. How does faith keep you grounded today?
Thing about faith, faith is something that, man, you can't see. You just got to continue to believe and have faith that it's going to happen. And that goes back to what I just said, man. When you have faith in God, the man, properly praying every day. Um, if you're into fasting, man, fasting is not an option. If you're really a Christian, fasting is not optional. Man, you have to fast. Man, you have to fast solely to show God that you serious about y'all relationship. And then he'll bless you. Once you show God that you're serious about his relationship with him, man, he'll give you anything you want. He'll give you stuff you didn't even ask for. And then he'll tell you to do it. And then he's going to want you to be obedient. He's going to want you to yield to what he just said. And, people, we operate under free will. They be like, I ain't doing that, man. I don't want to do that. But it's not an option. If you want to be successful, man, you have to be solely focused on God. Have that relationship tight. And man, he'll take you places you never seen before. He'll do stuff that, man, you thought was impossible. He'll put you in rooms with people you would have never thought you'd be in a room with. He'll make you qualify for a job you know you don't have the qualifications for or the credentials for. It's just, I mean, that faith, you got to work on that faith. You got to work on that obedience. You got to work on the discipline. You got to be able to yield to him.
What's one thing every young person should do today to start building for the future?
First of all, they like I said, keep God first. Secondly, man, do your research. You got to research this stuff. If you're trying to build something, you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan for everything. If you want, if it's gonna be worth something, you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan A, B, C sometime, but it's got to be a plan in place. You have to do your research on whatever you're trying to build, whatever you're trying to do. The plan has to be there. God has to be there first, though. That's what I would tell children. That, you know what I'm saying? If you're trying to get somewhere, man, make sure God first.
So what? So you spoke a little bit about having God first, and you got the plan. But what about the individuals that don't have any plan? Like, how do they even get started on even trying to find a plan to even work toward and have God be a part of?
A lot of times when people don't have a plan and they focus on God, God will give them the plan. They just gotta be they just gotta be patient and disciplined enough to sit there and listen. And 9 times out of 10, we as a people, we know what's right and wrong. We know what's right or wrong. Our conscience speak to us all the time. That's not right, you know. So when you listening for God to give you what you need, man, you gotta be still sometimes and you gotta shut up. That's another thing, man. People don't know how to be quiet. So if you praying, fasting, being focused on God, and you don't have a plan, man, I promise you, if you try it, man, he'll give you the plan. He'll give you a plan you didn't even think about. You'll be like, man, why didn't I think about that? Man, let me put that into play. You know. So, man, I go right back to that faith and focus on God, listen for him, Be patient. Be quiet. Listen for him. You know what's right and wrong. And you're going to know it's him speaking to you because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something that you do not want to do, but you know it's right. That's God.
Yeah.
That's God talking to you. When you be like, nah, I think I'm going to do this. No, that's you operating under your own will. Go back to that other one that you don't really too much care for. That's God talking.
So if you had 60 seconds to just speak to any young person watching right now, like what's the one thing that always resonates with you that you want to get across to young folk? What would you tell them?
To young folks, because so much has been taken away from like the village, I would say, man, focus on God. If you got a plan, focus on God. Ask him, is that what he has for you? Man, listen to him. Listen for him. Be serious about him. And he will give you an answer. I'm like, it sounds like it's an easy thing to do, or it sounds like it's something that, you might not be into, but it's necessary. It's very necessary. Man, it's gonna save you a lot of heartache. It's gonna save you a lot of pain. It's gonna create, if you do it, it's gonna create a lot of peace for you. It's gonna create a peace that no one can take from you. I mean, that's what I would say to children nowadays, because the generations is so different nowadays. They need something. They need something else. They need people to talk to them. They need older people or anybody around them that's significant in their family to be transparent with them. And that's what a lot of people is lacking, like a transparency, because a lot of times we like to speak from like, I didn't make those mistakes. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. But if you're transparent with people and let them know that, man, I've been through the same thing, and give them an example so they can know you being real with them. Be transparent about the situation. Be like, man, that's not a good thing to do. And man, the talking. You gotta talk. You gotta talk to these children. And the thing about kids, they so intelligent. They know when you're being genuine. They know when you're real, and they know when you blowing smoke up their tails too. So if you're not gonna be genuine with them, I recommend not even say nothing to them, because you could send them overboard, and you have a whole nother situation on your hand. But if you're gonna be genuine with them, man, give them the real. Let them know if you're being genuine or not.
Man, certainly appreciate your time, man.
Oh yeah.
Good seeing you, man.
Absolutely.
What we say, about 20, 25 years since we last saw each other?
Yep.
Dang, man.
25 years.
Too long, man.
Too long.
I know who I'm calling next time in ATL.
Yeah. Hey, call me. I'm here.
Yeah, next
I'm
time
there.
in ATL. Next time you come back, man, make sure you get up with me. We need to hit the gym together, man.
Okay. Hey, that's a date.
Yeah, for sure. But certainly appreciate it, man. Wish you the best in all that you're doing.
Absolutely.
And wish you safe travels back,
You're
man.
doing a great thing, man. Keep doing your thing. Hey, it's going to take off.
Yeah, for
Trust
sure.
me, man. Stay consistent, man. It's going to take off.
For sure, man. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Appreciate it, bro. Eric just dropped some life-changing wisdom. If you're out here waiting for your purpose to find you, you're already behind. Stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Discipline builds foundations and sacrifice builds legacies. Here's your challenge. Drop a fire emoji in the comments if you're serious about leveling up. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if this hits home, subscribe to the Purpose Pursuit podcast, because we're just getting started. To everyone watching, what's stopping you? It's time to build a life you were meant for. Let's get it.